Hello everybody, my name is Steady Bear Thunderheart. Of course you all know me by now as Bear. And today I just want to touch base, briefly on a couple things. So basically I want to touch base regarding the education system and Duck Duck. What does mean by Duck Duck? Well, before I go to the educational system, I just want to touch base about, have you heard of a game called Duck Duck Goose? How the kids are going around saying, they have, I don't know, I'm trying to remember if it's hide and seek or it's just like on a tape. They land them, they have them put their heads on the table, and a girl or so a little boy or a little girl goes duck, 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 and they duck goose, and then when they hit goose, then they're supposed to chase the girl or chase the boy or something like that. Duck, duck, goose. Well, rather than duck, duck, goose, how about duck, duck, go? Meaning duckduckgo.com. You should definitely check out this search engine. Now, a lot of people, including my wife Rainbow, have said that it has been around for a while. But then again, if it's been around for a while, then why has it not been promoted? Why has it not been talked about? There's a reason why. DuckDuckGo is a great search engine that actually not only gives you privacy from you not getting spied on from various people within social media and media people or government officials and things like that. And at the same time, you also get actual good information too from various sources. So if you want to look up whatever you want to look up, it's going to give you a good amount of resources for you to look at, like for information. Like let's say you want to talk about eucalyptus trees or something like that. Then you can go ahead and then type up look at eucalyptus trees on the search engine. It should give you as many information as you can, uncensored and everything onto it. And the reason I said uncensored is because various other search engines have been censoring various information, from the people and so forth, because they don't want people to know and be empowered. So that's the idea. Hey Kim, how you doing? It's been a long time. Any event, so in regards to all that, so duckduckgo.com is where you should go if you want to start searching or start having your kids. If you want to have, since you already have kids that are going to be at home, they might as well learn how to utilize other resources other than just simply Google or Yahoo or anything like that. So duckduckgo.com, good search engine. Check it out. And believe me, you will not be duck-duck-goosing with that. Any event, now let's get ahead with the education system. If you hear a wind in the background, excuse me right now. I'm outside right now at the park, and I'm just hanging out a little bit before I head home. So before I start doing other things, but let me reiterate about what's going on with the school systems. Obviously, since this whole C-19 or COVID-19 situation that we've been having, this whole Panick-Demic, as I like to call it, Panick-Demic, the whole everything pretty much went on lockdown from March, okay? Even though things throughout the months have started to slowly but surely open up, but look what's been going on. We've had all kinds of different things, from people being paranoid of sicknesses to people wearing masks, or people start, getting violent with riots and so forth. And of course, there's some protests too, but I'm not mixing in the protests versus the rioters and the looters or other forms of terrorism that's gone on in our country. You see? And so, what I'm saying here, as far as all this stuff is concerned, there are various restaurants, various businesses that were closed due to all this lockdown, supposedly. And so now, everything's starting to open up, and even various other people are now starting to fight back and saying, no, we're going back to work, or people are starting to open up their businesses again and things like that. Of course, you had places like Walmart and various other corporations. The reason why they weren't shut down because they were getting paid by the government. They're not private business. They're corporated. They're publicly traded companies. So these publicly traded companies were considered essential, but yet all the other companies that were not publicly traded were not. And so why am I saying this? Because obviously isn't the school supposed to be public traded as well? But yet they closed them down because there's a lot of kids and a lot of parents and there's a lot of families involved. So they thought, well, let's just shut the schools down too, right? But here's the thing. A lot of people are saying, yeah, we're there to protect the kids, we're there to protect the teachers and everything else. That's only a smokescreen, to say the least. Yes, there have been people that have died with this diseases and so forth, but then there have been more people have died with various other diseases way before this particular disease I'm talking about. So, yeah, y'all didn't shut the schools down by then, did you? There were, H1N1, there was the Spanish flu, there was all these other types of flus. Hell, there's even flus that people die of, the flus. And yet, there was no school shutdowns then, were they? There are people that have died of other types of sicknesses, but there were no shutdowns from schools by then, did they? No, because this is a social experiment. This is a social control, social cultural control is what this is about. And so, with that being said, the schools that are getting shut down right now, they're forcing the kids and parents and everybody to stay home. And quite frankly, I have something to say about that. You see, quite frankly, I think it's a good thing, in a sense, for kids to stay home in many ways. Because, let's be honest. Right now, what's been going on is that the kids are, not learning much when they're actually going to school. They haven't been for a while. The school system has not been the same, has not been as, how do I say this, hasn't had a certain amount of quality that has happened. It's a joke, basically, is what it has been. And so there are a lot of kids right now, especially in the millennials, who have not really taken any great interest in education at all. If anything, there's many of them who are either getting in trouble or they're getting bored. And there are some students that are good and that have, that have great academics and everything else too. But even so, there has been the system has certain teachers that, that can teach, but then there are just some that are not that qualified. And then you got great teachers who don't know how to teach, who are not even teaching these school systems because the curriculums have gotten to a point where they've got so strict. They don't give teachers the leeway to really be great teachers. Instead, they're practicing classroom management, which is something that they should have, yes. And at the same time, they should have it enough to a point where it's not so stressed to a point where they can still be able to teach effectively, too, at the same time. From back in my generation, when we were going to school, and especially when I was going to school in California, the teachers that I had were cut from a different cloth. These teachers knew how to did classroom management, but they also knew how, at the same time, they also knew how to do teaching as well. They knew how to teach too, because that was what they did. That was their passion. You see, and so with that being said, but they were also strict, and a lot of the times because they knew how to manage themselves as well. See, nowadays, you see some teachers who are too afraid to do anything is because so many of the school system itself has told people, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that. They're not allowing the teachers to be themselves, to be people, be people first and then teachers. And then on top of that, then you also have like administrations in regards to the school system. The school system administrations, you got a bunch of non-balance that's been going on in between, especially the way that it's been selected. I mean, you got so many men who are basically betas, for instance. They're not alphas. They don't have an alpha bone in their body as principals. And then you got women principals who are, let's just say, too masculine for their own good. Let's just put it that way. They're too hard. There's no in between. There's none of this balance that's been going on. And it's been done on purpose. It's been socially engineered. This is our school system has been. And so what's been going on now is that this shutdown has been a good thing because now it's about everything going through a reset. That's what it is. Things are going through a reset, and so is the educational system. That's going through a reset too. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are going to resist this change. They're going to resist this resets and everything else too, but it's already happening right now. I mean, it's already changing to a point where they were even talking about having hybrids, whether they're having some kids going to school, some kids stay home, and there's so many other schools that are already voted that are saying, you know what, let's keep the kids home for their first semester. And then the teachers who couldn't go to school, they can do online Zoom and things like that. Now, quite frankly, like I said, I really feel this is a better thing. And it has nothing to do with the virus. Let me explain myself. It has nothing to do with the virus, even though that's one of the way a lot of people may think, it's a way to protect my kids. And if that's what their belief is, so be it. And at the same time, what this really is about is to get them away from the reset situation that the school system is going. Because let's be honest, there are certain things in the school system that do need changing. That do need changing in the ways of, or even maybe just start all over. Because when there's a problem within a certain organization or institution, it's usually the system that's at fault, according to billionaire and author Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Rich Dad's Prophecy, and various books as such. He even wrote a book about I'm trying to remember what's the name of the book, but he wrote one even co-authored with Donald Trump, President Trump even. He actually wrote a book co-authored with President Trump. Not this time, but he did it many years ago and before Trump became president. And that's the idea. So, and in that retrospect, let me see, what was that? Oh, okay, yes, that's right. Okay, so Robert Kiyosaki was talking about it's the system that's usually at fault more so than the people, because if the system is broken, then so many other things that are broken, you see, and so that's what's going on, and with that, but at the same time, you also got people too who have this old paradigm way of thinking, who want to hang on to the old ways, to the old system, even if it's broken, because they think anything is better than nothing. And that's that kind of attitude that people have. And so what I'm saying here is that people can resist all they want, but the changes are happening as we speak. I mean, everything is going through a reset. Things are changing with social media. Things are changing with the way Hollywood is. Hollywood's going through a downfall. And we've talked about that. And Rainbow and I have spoken about that a few times, and I'll speak more about it in future videos. And at the same time, with all these falls that are going on, school system is really no different. The only difference is now is that there has to be a way now that it has to come to balance with everything. I mean, like for instance, what I'm saying here is that, the math, everything, the essentials like math and writing and things like that, reading should be one of the biggest things. And at the same time, when it comes to a lot of different things like history and everything else too, that needs to change. What I'm saying here is that history needs to change in many ways. There needs to be, of course, the history where especially in the United States. And we're going to have the United States, changes and so for history. Then we need to have different aspects of history too, not just one history that fits all. Because this whole fitting all history, it has caused a lot of the chaos to begin with in this country. From all this racism and all the violence and all this, everybody's using certain people to try to create a racist narratives and all kinds of stuff. So what I'm saying here is that there needs to be different types of historical studies. Now, not just of the white European version of the studies of the European, especially in America, but of course America also has had many other minorities too that made this country. So they need to have a history too. The kids need to start learning history like Chicano studies. Hispanic students need to at least learn Chicano studies first, and if they want to start learning the other history, then they should be it. But at least they should start learning the Chicano studies, or melanated African Americans people, and various other people of the African descents. We should be studying African history, or the Caribbean history that is linked within our own people, or something like that. Or natives need to start learning native history. See, those things do exist, but unfortunately, those things exist only with the perspectives of these minorities once you go to college, or Asian studies. Asians to study their own history too, not just from the countries of their ancestors, but they also the fact that their ancestors have also made something here too in America. You see what I mean? If you don't start to include all these different people, races, ethnicities, religions, and so forth, to have their own history, the kids to start learning, then there's going to be a lack of balance in our country. There's going to be no balance. There's not going to be any kids. I mean, sure, they can always learn it from their parents, from their families, and everything else too. But why not this? But the schools has been one of the best influence of our generations, of our kids, and so forth. Why not also bring these curriculums of different types of histories to the different types of kids? I'm not trying to talk about segregation, but let's be honest. Sometimes if you separate a little bit, so that the people can get to know themselves and their culture and get to know who they really are as people, then they can actually really be better off being with the people, being socialized better with other people. that are not like mine or anything like that. You understand? Or like a race or creed or whatever the case. So that's one of the key things that changes that I can definitely foresee happening. Because a lot of people have been talking about this for quite some time, or even so, if it doesn't happen that way, at least start to create different schools of thought, different schools in general that will do such things. Especially when you're teaching history, culture, and everything else like that, there needs to definitely be curriculums that's going to fit a certain person's culture or whatever. So like I said before, there should be, one for African American studies. There should be one for Native American studies, Asian, Hispanic, and yada yada yada. And then of course the white Europeans and Anglo-Saxons can have their history too, as well. And that's just it. And then that's another good point too. Going to business and learning how to do business schools, excellent point. And also, the thing is, people need to learn how to do business and how to do investing too. That's another thing that people need to start also creating within the school system. And that's the idea. So because even Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, like I said before, he said that when you actually teach people how to count money or how to manage money, there is no real skill in how to do that, because they're not teaching you how to become a multimillionaire in mostly these public schools. You have to go to these rich schools and other types of vocational schools or charter schools to learn something like that. You see, people know how to do 1 + 1 and all this other stuff, which is good. And at the same time, to really manage money and invest in money and how to do business and everything, or how to be an entrepreneur or business owner, there are no such curriculums, because that's not how the system was set up. That's why it needs to change too, because it wasn't set up for you to become a businessman or to become a business owner. It was set up for you to become a worker or a person in the military, to obey orders and so forth. That's what the school system was really constructed for. And now that all this change is going on, there needs to be a new system implanted in the schools, or otherwise we're going to keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. And that, my friends, is insanity. That's the definition of insanity. And you don't want to have that anymore, Evan. You want to definitely have, something that could actually have some changes that could actually move forward and forward and forward. That's going to make, society even better for everyone. So, and that's the idea. But at the same time, too, while there's also a revolution that's going on with our schools, there's also a revolution that's going on in our political system. What's been going on with the riots and then the burnings, the lootings, and how the Democratic government officials in certain states and cities are just out of control. And so that's also being dealt with as well, too. And then, of course, the money system is also going to change. Hollywood is, like I said, it's fallen. And I mean, there's a lot that's going on right now and so why not change the schools too? And if that's not the case, then have at least other private schools start changing to become more that way. But in order for that to happen, Joe, too, the parents have to be aware of the fact that things are changing. And if you want things to change, then you must start implementing the changes and say, look, you know what? This is what we do. These are a list of demands for various schools and things like that. You see? And so that's basically what this is about. This is about, learning how to make some changes. But at the same time, you also need to be willing to change within yourself. Change what you feel, change the way you look at things. So as you adapt to the changes, you can also go ahead and also help adapt everything else around you or people around you to change too. So that's been going on. So sometimes you just have to take a step back. See, the quarantine, when people were quarantined, it was a lockdown for there's a lot of different reasons, which I'm not going to go into it right now. But here's the thing. The thing about it is that when people sometimes go within, or they stay at home, they get a chance to go within, they get a chance to read, they get a chance to, for those who decide to utilize the time wisely. That's what I'm getting at. For those who decided to utilize their time wisely with this whole quarantine, you have to definitely just use your time wisely to do research or check yourself or heal yourself and transcend yourself. And then learn different things, learn what's really going on. This is what this time is about. And yes, fortunately, of course, I was able to work more at my job, but I was also able to work more in my business too, in that sense. And so if things started opening up, I got a chance to work and do other things too. And at the same time, most people still don't have that luxury. Some people are either working, looking for work, or don't still have any jobs or anything like that, and that's a sad thing. So the economy needs to definitely open it up all the way. And at the same time, like I said, there's going to be some changes in our money system pretty soon. So you gotta look out for those changes too. And then once you start having the money system to change, then you're gonna have everything else change. And the school system has to go along with it as well. So even though a lot of people can't wait for things to open up, but at the same time, it's gonna be a whole different thing. It's not gonna be what it was before. It cannot be the same ever again. And you're gonna find out more. Like I said, you're always gonna find out more things. I'm sorry with the wind. If you're hearing the wind, excuse me on that. Like I said before, we're going to have to really get used to the changes that are going to happen in the world, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. We're just going to have to just see it. Now, of course, I am optimistic enough to see it being for the better. But at the same time, we're going to have to go through some bumps and roads ahead in order for things to get better. And like I said, there's a lot of things that I'm not going to say right now, but there are going to be other videos that I will say. It's going to be a video, the group of, it's actually going to be an online platform that Rainbow and I are creating, where we're going to be opening up pretty soon, called Patreon. Patreon is something that we've been planning on it for quite some time. Patreon has been something that Rainbow and I have been wanting to utilize because, there's just a lot of craziness that are out there in so many ways that we want to expose and we want to talk to about or want to teach with either whether it's psychic protection or shamanism or Reiki or various other forms of healing that I haven't been putting out on a free content for certain reasons, because we want to definitely get people who really want the information and who can handle various information. They can start to sign up on our Patreon for $5. So just start as low as $5 a month. Just as low as $5 a month, you can start, basically learning different ways, in ways that we would not share it out in the public, because the only people that we get to share deeper secrets with are people that either pay, or whether it's in person or online or anything like that. Those are usually the people that we really share our deepest teachings with. It's because of the fact that right now, with all the censorship that's been going on with YouTube and various other forms of social media, Facebook and all this other stuff, quote unquote fact checking all that shit and all that. There's just a lot of craziness that's been going on. But another thing too is that, especially on certain various social media, Rainbow and I have been going through various attacks from various people that we thought were cool clients. I won't even say friends, because I never really considered them friends, but clients who I thought were cool, at least had a good head on their shoulders, and they just wanted to attack because of various narratives that we're saying that they don't agree with. The thing about it is, you don't have to agree with what we have to say. You don't have to agree with anything we have to say. You don't have to. And you can speak your disagreement without having to go through straight up and attacking me or attacking Rainbow, and attacking what we do or attacking our intelligence and so forth. There is no need for that. Okay? I mean, first and foremost, there are various people out there, and you guys know who you are. You came and attacked us because we would put out posts or content that you disagree with, and then so you start to get angry with us, and you start to insult our intelligence or even question our sanity and things like that. And then so therefore we don't need that. We don't need to be people. First of all, remember, y'all came to us in the past. You came to us for healings. You came for us for your help. Okay? If you guys really truly believe in all the bullshit that you guys are saying about to us and things like that, in certain ways about our intelligence or wisdom, and you're questioning our wisdom, y'all would not have came to us to begin with. You would have went to a lot of other people, but you also came to us in addition too. Yes, you did. Just an ad that was in my head. Got rid of it. Like I said before, y'all came to us for healings in the past. And so I would really appreciate it if you guys would show a little more appreciation for first of all, what we've done, what we helped you with. Okay? Especially the fact that, you guys would not be able to solve various problems on your own without any actual help, whether it's from my help or the help of anyone else's for that matter. Okay? And then, on top of that, and then some of y'all, like I said before, there are some that don't agree. And like I said, you don't have to agree with anything we say. But like I said before, at least be a little more, mindful about, how you're doing it, because you're just straight attacking, and that's what's been going on too. This whole thing, this what's been going on in the world is just triggering people so much that people are going out and straight out attacking people and not knowing all the facts or anything like that. And I know you guys don't know all the facts in the way you guys are attacking. You guys have opinions and everything. You guys have your own ways, but the fact that you guys are coming and attacking us a certain way, it's unacceptable, and I don't appreciate it. And I know Rainbow doesn't appreciate it, even though Rainbow has taken, and I've done my best too, out of respect for, various people and my clients and various other, and my relationships with various other people, not to, go on not to counterattack and everything else. But it's getting to that point now where, I'm tired of people who want to fuss and argue and everything else too. So that's one of the reasons why I want to create Patreon and have people be on Patreon, so that we can actually have more of a community, rather than having all this people who are so angry and who want to fight and want to lash out because we're hitting some nerves of what our content we put. We're putting out the content for a reason. It's not just for shock value. We're doing this for a reason. We're doing this to help people, and I wish y'all would see that. And there's some of y'all that do see that, you guys are good. If it doesn't apply to you, let it fly off of you. But for those who are who are making, little idle threats or empty promises and all this other stuff, that's unacceptable. I mean, if you guys can't handle the information, you don't have to see it. You don't even have to come to our page, because you're coming to our pages. You're coming to our page. We're not coming to yours. You need to realize that. You need to realize that y'all are coming to our pages, we're not doing that to you. The only time we would come to your pages is when you would say something, or when you make a comment and I want to make a comment back, or whatever the case. And I'm not saying, like I said, you have to do everything you say. You don't have to. All I'm saying is, you can be more respectful even when you disagree. We can agree to disagree on things, but stop going around and attacking us, because that's what y'all want. That's the energy y'all have been giving to us. And quite frankly, I don't. Like I said before, Rainbow doesn't like it, and I don't either. And it's getting tiresome, quite frankly. I mean, let's just put it like this: whether you guys want to make any threats or whatever, make sure you make good on those threats or promises, because whether they're empty promises or whether they're empty promises or idle threats, either which way, unless you're willing to make good on them, I don't want to hear it. Rainbow doesn't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. That's just it. We don't want to hear it. So, if you're gonna make good on your promises or threats, make good on them. Like I said, until you're willing to do those, what you say you're gonna do, I don't want to hear it. Rainbow doesn't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. Okay? We do things for a reason. Okay? And it'll be really cool. I mean, for instance, you guys question everyone else that has a certain content, because certain people say certain things that'll make you guys feel good, or make you guys, basically, the reason why you don't attack various other types of people is because they say what you want to hear. They say what you like to hear. And Bear Rainbow, we just flow. We flow with what we do. We flow with our information. We have certain downloads that comes to us, and we say the things we say, or we put out a certain content. There's a reason why. Because we see things in the world that y'all are not willing to see, or you guys can't see, or you guys are not willing to dig deep enough. And that just starts from you. That's not even going outside of yourselves. See, a lot of y'all don't know how to dig deep within yourselves. So you're not gonna dig deep within everything else outside of yourselves. And you're not willing to do that, at least to dig deep within yourself as well as outside. Then get out of the way and let other people come in and learn the stuff that they need to learn. Especially those who are willing to dig deep within themselves, and they're willing to dig deep with subjects or things outside themselves. Whatever the case. So, anyways, once again, we'll be launching Patreon. So, and of course, we're going to have the link at the bottom. Patreon.com/Bear Rainbow Shamanic Healers. And like I said, I'm going to write that. We're going to have that down at the bottom, so don't worry about it. It's going to be there. So, anyways, that's enough of my rant. I'm just wanted to, I know I kind of was already done with the topic, but I got a little off the topic just because of the fact that, you know, we're just tired of people, you know, wanting to attack us and things like that. And I know it comes with the territory, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that I can't speak up either, at this point. Don't think I cannot speak back. You know, even though we've taken the high road in the past and everything, and we're going to continue to do so when we can. But when enough's enough, enough's enough. That's all there is to it. And so, and whether you, and like I say, whether you guys like what we do or not, you know, at least you know that we are, that basically you guys came to us for a reason. So obviously there's a certain level of respect to the fact that you guys came to us for some help or whatever the case. You know, because you guys know that we're experts in various things. And now all of a sudden you guys want to act like we're not. I don't think so. We are experts no matter what. And I don't really care what you guys may feel from this point on and whatever the case. But, you know, my life is good. I'm going to move on with my life. Rainbow's going to move on with hers. And we're going to do what we do. And like I said before, we're here to help people. We're here to help you. And at the same time, we're not going to allow any form of disrespect, you know, coming too much of our way. We're not going to tolerate it. And I just want to let you guys know that. And let people know, we'll let the world know where we stand. And at least I know where I stand. Or otherwise, my name is not Standing Bear Thunderheart. My name is not Standing Bear Thunderheart on accident, folks. I hope you know that. I hope you guys realize that. I am Standing Bear Thunderheart for a reason. It was a reason why this name was given to me. And Rainbow Heart Freedom Eagle is the reason why the name was given to her. There's a reason why we're Bear Rainbow. So, anyways, I just, you know, really want to like emphasize on that, but at the same time, I just want to like let you guys know that, you know, like I said, things are changing. So we're gonna have to just learn how to adapt and adapt within ourselves, and just know that at some point we can extend that knowledge and all that to others when the time comes to help them as well. So in any event, what do you guys think about the educational system? What do you guys think about DuckDuckGo and all this other stuff? I'd like to hear your comments about it and see what it is. And when we have our comments, let's see if we can try to have more of a solution-oriented comments that are going to be upbringing and uplifting, not just to me and Rainbow, not just to yourselves, but to others too. Let's just say we can have more of an uplifting of such, okay? Let's just do something different. Let's just do our best to uplift rather than always attacking. All right, let's just give that a shot for a change. All right, now I'm gonna get going, and I'll talk to you guys later. Like I said, check out our patreon.com/Bear Rainbow Shamanic Healers, and like I said, check out DuckDuckGo.com. DuckDuckGo.com. 2 ducks, just DuckDuckGo.com. So, all right, now I'll talk to you later, and take care. Healing, it is all that is.